So this one's all about Annabelle, the supernatural realm, the home of ghosts, demons and hauntings. In this realm, there exist few characters and stories that elicit such a combination of fear and recognition as the doll Annabelle. Her name and likeness became famous through the Conjuring film series. She has now become synonymous with tales of dark, supernatural encounters. Now, Annabelle is now almost a household name. She is famous for her terrifying, unsettling gaze, a bit like this. Beneath the lights and cameras of Hollywood, Annabelle blurs the lines between reality and imagination. The history of the real Annabelle doll is just as strange and as chilling as what you see in the films. Now, the first of these infamous hauntings can allegedly be traced back to 1970, when Annabelle was brand new. Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll that sits in a glass case in a museum in Monroe, Connecticut, was supposedly given as a birthday gift to a 28-year-old nurse in 1970, or so the story goes. Now, the Annabelle doll had been gifted to a young nurse named Donna, or Deirdre, depending on the source, from her mother for her 28th birthday. Now, Donna apparently was thrilled with the gift, so she brought it back to her apartment that she shared with another young nurse named Angie, where they lived as student nurses at a college. She took the doll thinking nothing of it, and at first the doll was an adorable accessory sitting on a sofa in the living room, greeting visitors with a colourful visage. But before long, the two women began to notice that Annabelle seemed to move about the room of her own accord. Donna would sit her on the living room sofa before leaving for work, only to come home in the afternoon and find her in the bedroom with the door shut. Now, Donna and Angie then started finding notes left throughout the apartment reading, "Help me." According to the women, the notes were written on parchment paper, which they did not even keep in their home, and the doll would move from place to place. Now, little did they know that this innocent-looking doll would soon become the source of both fascination and terror in equal measure. Now, Donna and Angie accepted the aid of the Warrens. They knew they needed someone more experienced and knowledgeable about such strange and threatening circumstances. Now, the Warrens quickly realised that the doll was not merely haunted by a ghost. They deduced that she instead harboured something much more sinister, an inhuman and malevolent spirit, an evil spirit. Now, according to their assessment, the doll acted as a conduit for a demon. They would go on to say that it was demonically possessed and its target was Donna, the nurse. So to address the escalating danger, the Warrens decided to perform an exorcism on the doll, just like you saw in the film The Exorcist. A medium told them it was possessed by a young female ghost, but others knew that this was no ordinary ghost, but a demented and evil spirit inside the doll. The priest's car's brakes failed just after this exorcism, and his car was completely written off and totaled. As they travelled on back roads, the Warrens encountered a series of harrowing incidents. The car's engine malfunctioned, power steering failed, and even the brakes posed a challenge. Fearing the demon's interference, Ed resorted to sprinkling the doll with holy water, but this provided a temporary respite from the disturbances. Now, this eerie episode underscored the powerful grip that the demon had on Annabelle. It left the Warrens acutely aware of the dark forces that they were dealing with. Now, after acquiring the doll, the Warrens realised that Annabelle's presence was far too powerful to be contained within their home. They recognised the doll's capacity to evade locks and wreak havoc. So the Annabelle doll reportedly committed a series of attacks in the early 1970s before it was confined in the Occult Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren in Connecticut. To the uninformed visitors of the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, she looks like any other Raggedy Ann doll produced in the mid-20th century, but the original Annabelle doll is actually anything but ordinary. Now, though she doesn't share the same porcelain skin and lifelike features as her cinematic counterpart, the Annabelle doll that lives in the Occult Museum of famed paranormal investigators, the Warrens, the pair that worked on this case, is made all the more creepy by how ordinary she appears. Now, Annabelle's stitched features, including her half smile, her bright orange triangular nose, evoke memories of childhood toys and simpler times. But remember, never to touch the doll or to open the case in where she sits. Now, allegedly, a motorcyclist who didn't follow the rules died in a crash soon afterwards. Now, according to the well-known paranormal investigators, the doll is responsible for 2 near-death experiences, 1 fatal accident, and a string of demonic activities that lasted some 30 years. So what do you think really happened? And is this an urban myth, or was the doll really as demonic as people have said? And would you be brave enough to stand in front of Annabelle in the occult museum, or even dare to touch the glass container when the museum was open? So do you think that Annabelle is real, or is she just a doll?